It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is Body Count with a brand new one there called Pop Bubble. Believe it or not, Chris, I actually like that one.
It was good, right?
I like the message.
Yeah,
I like the fact that the old school is calling out the new school.
Yeah, they should be calling out the new school. It's a bunch of fucking fags.
I agree, but the thing is I like the fact that that they don't they have the attitude of the Classic Metal Show, that they call out the people who need to be called out.
Sure.
They don't align themselves just because of a certain ilk or a certain race or a certain color, and you know, we're all one and we all got each other's backs, and you know.
No, it's put up or shut up.
Right. So I actually like that. I like the message there.
Yeah. I like this album. It's good. It's heavy as fuck.
It's like who cares what Kim Kardashian is wearing today?
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to hear about fucking Justin Bieber?
Right. But, you know, I don't think that they're really talking about it, Justin Bieber. I mean, because I heard him mention, you know, Kanye West and, you know, all these guys who are literally making millions and millions of dollars off the back of their fans who, as he said, they can't even pay their own rent.
That's right.
You know, so these guys are more interested in being all thug and gangsta and having the attitude, but they can't even pay their own rent.
That's right. Although I think Kanye can.
Well, I'm talking about their fans, not the artist.
Yeah,
but the guys who want to act out and try to be like them or emulate them.
Sure. Well, they're thugs. They download the music illegally.
Well, when you know, years ago, it was a big deal where periodically you'd hear a story about somebody getting either beat up or killed for their Air Jordans.
Sure.
Remember when that was a big deal?
Yeah. That was a big deal for a long time.
It was. And then, you know, over this 4th of July holiday, here in the Chicago area, 54 people got shot.
Wow. How did that happen when they're not legally allowed to have guns?
Yeah,
then?
Because we need better laws.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what it is. We need better laws. Otherwise, these people wouldn't have gotten shot if the laws were better.
I guess the law that says you're not allowed to have a gun in Chicago wasn't a good enough law.
No. Nope. The laws needs to be better.
I wonder how many less people would have been shot if the actual non-criminals would have had some guns. Do you think there would have been less than 82 shot and killed?
Sure.
I think that number might have gone down to like 40.
Right.
But no, you know, we got to have more. We got to have more disarmament.
Right.
Fucking Obama. What a piece of shit.
Did you hear any backlash about that at all?
No. The media was quick to get rid of that story.
Sure. Sweep that under the carpet.
Fuck yeah, it's only 82 people.
Sure.
It's only more than at the Skid Row concert.
You know, exactly. More people got killed in Chicago than were at the Skid Row concert at the Agora. That'd be a great headline, wouldn't it?
It's the truth. That's fucking tragic.
Wow.
Tragic on both sides.
Wouldn't that have been a great question had you got to interview the band?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so let me ask you something, Johnny, or Snake, or Rachel, or whomever it is you might have talked to, if not all of them.
Sure.
How does it feel to have less people at your concert than got killed on 4th of July weekend in Chicago?
Oh, maybe I'll ask them that next week. I won't. You know,
Chris, I don't put anything by you. You know I would ask that question.
I'm definitely thinking now that's going to be asked.
I mean, granted, you know, you have the reputation of being the wild man on the show, but I think periodically now and again, I surprise you with some off-the-wall question.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you do it, it's even more heinous because it's not expected. When I do it, it's just like, all right, he's just being an ass.
It's more heinous.
Yep.
But that would be a great question.
Would be. I think it needs to be asked.
Yeah. So, let me ask you something, Johnny. You know, the turnout at the Agora in Cleveland wasn't so good. Yeah. How does it feel to have less people at your concert than the number of people who got killed in Chicago over the 4th of July holiday?
I'm going to so ask that.
You need to.
I'm so asking that.
That is such a good question.
Let's see what he says. You know he's probably going to hang up on that.
It doesn't matter.
I don't care.
That would make it even better.
Yeah.
That would make it even better.
I just don't want it to blow up my Seven Dust tickets. Same publicist.
Oh, okay. Well, I see you got something riding on the line there.
I do, but I'll still. That doesn't mean nothing. I can buy Seven Dust
Sure,
tickets.
you can. Wow. That is a good question, though.
I think so.
Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
It's the Midnite Maniac here, and you were talking about that shooting. Somebody did actually. There was a conceal and carry veteran that had a little confrontation, and he shot one of the guys, and shot back at two more that were shooting. So maybe we'll get some more conceal and carry people in Illinois.
How did he? Is he dead now?
No, the guy he shot died. The veteran. What happened? What happened was they were leaving a house party, and the party next to them, somebody had left a liquor bottle on there, and some lady in the party said, "Hey, get your liquor bottle off our car." And one of the guys there in that neighborhood started, mouthing back, and next thing you know, he went in the house and he shot the gal twice, and the veteran got behind the front of the car and returned fire, and he killed the one guy that fired the first shots, and then two more come off the patio shooting, and I don't know if he wounded them and they drove away, but I was like, maybe it's about time,
Talk shit, get shot.
That's right.
That's right. Hail and kill. Fuck you, pal. Hand job.
Look, we got new callers chiming in.
I just like that we get a serious call, but then he has to end with fuck you, pal, and hand job.
Well, that's the call. That's the way to end the call.
I know, it just gives us an air of never being totally serious.
Why would we be?
Well, I know, but it just, I'd like that call to be serious.
Sure. Well, it was serious. He had the information. He shared it. Yeah. It's topical. It goes along with the what we're talking about here. It goes along with the body count song.
Right.
Talk shit, get shot.
Yeah. But imagine that. A guy that actually had a license to bared his arms and lived.
Right.
As opposed to being dead like he would have been if he was just a fucking helpless idiot.
Right.
Fucking Obama. He's brilliant. All you fucking left-wing fuckfaces, you're all fucking brilliant. Save the world! Protect me from everything, from everybody. Don't say bad words to me.
Right.
Don't let me have a weapon. You can protect me better. Fuck off, bunch of pussies. I honestly believe that's what they should rename that party. It should stop being the fucking Democrats and just start being the fucking faggot pussy party. That's what they should call it. Don't you think? I mean, everybody in it wants fucking handouts and fucking protection and everything. None of them want to fucking do for themselves.
Right.
Fucking queers.
Well, that's the whole idea is that that's what they ultimately want, is to everybody be dependent on big daddy government for everything.
Yeah, a bunch of fucking queers. None of them want to do anywhere. I got into this huge political argument this week with a bunch of fucking left-leaning idiots. And basically their premise is that that they were complaining that the corporations have so much money. And my whole thing was, well, those corporations took the fucking risk. So why shouldn't they keep the money? They don't owe you anything. They don't owe you any more.
Yeah, and if you disagree with the corporation, don't buy their stuff.
Or don't work there.
Right.
If you don't think the wage is enough for you, don't work there. But, what employees have ever given back money when a corporation had a bad year? Has that ever happened in the history of forever?
Not that I'm aware of.
That doesn't happen. So everybody wants it only to lean their way and nothing else. What's the call-in number?
800-497-5891. 800-497-5891.
But do you agree with that point?
I agree with that point. Actually, that's interesting that you brought that up.
Why?
I was watching a documentary today. I'm just so into documentaries these days because Netflix always has so many good ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching a documentary on the inventor, not the band, Tesla.
All right, yeah.
Nicola Tesla.
Sure.
And he signed an agreement with Westinghouse.
Okay.
Back in the day when he was inventing the alternating current.
Sure.
And he was up against Edison, who was a big proponent of direct current. So he had DC or AC.
Right.
And the drawback of DC is that it couldn't transport or cause that electrical current to go very far without dropping off in voltage.
Right.
And you only get if you create 12 volts, that's all you get is 12 volts. Well, with AC, alternating current, it would go further. You could put it on lines and stuff, and it would go, you could take it for miles and miles and miles. Well, anyway, long story short, Westinghouse was having a hard time financially because they invested all of their resources into power lines and power generation and AC and whatever. And Tesla had a royalty payment agreement with Westinghouse that he would receive $2 and I think it was like $2.50 per kilowatt that they produced. And because Westinghouse was having such a tough time financially, he tore up his agreement.
Ooh.
Basically giving it back.
Right.
And they said his agreement today would have literally been worth trillions of dollars.
Right. Wow.
Yep. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, just sorry to backtrack for a second, Joe Freelance. Talking about the sort of the funny, having the super, serious conversation, ending it with, the fuck you Callahan job, all that sort of stuff. When you were back with Mikey for his graduation,
yeah,
did you guys get him to agree that when he becomes a senator, a congressman, or a Supreme Court judge or something, he'll do some little secret, shout out when he's up there on the podium or something like that?
Well, if Chris and I are still around to see that day come, I'm sure that Mikey will salute the CMS in some appropriate way should he reach those lofty heights.
And Mikey has, for the record, said that he would do that.
I just think that would be so awesome.
Well, I got to tell you, Joe, when Chris and I spent the day and the night and the next day, part of the next day with Mikey, you would be absolutely floored at the mouth on that kid.
Yeah, okay.
I would say you guys have been, I'll just say influences on him. I think you've been really good influences in terms of just sort of trial by fire, in terms of taking a 12, 13-year-old and treating him and holding him up to the expectations of an adult.
Right.
And I think he totally rose to that task. And but I think also, your lovely vocals have influenced him as well.
Right. Well, it amazes me that, and I know Chris agrees with this, that he places so much credit to us for shepherding him through his, early to late teenage years and his ability to be a good public speaker and be a little more aggressive and be more, what's the word I'm looking for, Chris?
Assertive.
Assertive. That's a good thing. He credits us for that. And I don't quite understand that, and I don't quite get it. But for whatever reason, everybody that Chris and I met at his graduation, from teachers to relatives to friends, oh, so you're the guys who brought Mikey out of his shell.
Yeah, we heard that a lot.
You're the guys. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, that would just when they would say that would just back me and Neeley into a corner waiting for the, you fucking assholes, why did you do it?
What did you do to our baby?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like that, everyone I think has had like that one boss or employer that just sort of showed them the right way of work ethic and how to work hard. And if you step out of line, you get smacked and all that kind of stuff. And we learn and we're better people because of it. And kind of going into the topic you were just talking about, is that's, I think, the problem with the world today is someone shows up, at work with a, safety pin through their forehead, you're not allowed to say, dude, you look like an idiot, go home, because, that's their expression, that's their self-expression, where, it gets stronger and just go, oh, okay, yeah, that is kind of dumb, coming to work with a safety pin through my forehead. All right, sorry, but
right.
Anyways, all right, hail and kill and all that other stuff. See ya.
All right, Joe. Wow, look at Joe Freelance coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, he's back in.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a while.
No, not at all.
Nice. So anyway, I think that's a documentary, getting back to the Tesla thing.
Yeah.
And getting back to your point about giving back your employer when they're having hard times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were having hard times at that point, and so he gave back his agreement or his contract.
And they never gave it back to him once they started doing well, though, now did they?
No, they did not.
That's the whole point.
But, watching that documentary, it was very well done. Mm-hmm. Tesla had zero interest in money.
Apparently, because he had all kinds of fucking, great ideas.
Well, no, the thing is that he was a millionaire several times over.
Okay.
He would earn it, then he would reinvest it or lose it, then he would earn it and then reinvest it or lose it again. And he literally enjoyed millions of dollars, even though his lifespan was in the late 1800s into the mid 1900s.
Wow.
So he had a lot of money,
right?
But he basically died with receiving a stipend from Westinghouse. Once he had gotten feeble,
okay,
they agreed to pay his living expenses and whatnot, and he basically lived in a hotel room in the New Yorker hotel.
Wow.
Until he died.
Jeez.
But the guy, from his inventions and because of the contracts and his patents and so on and so forth, the guy literally earned, a couple of $1 million during that time, but it came and went and came and went.
Don't you wish you could be one of those guys that everything you touch just turned into $1 million?
Yeah, that guy was amazing. But anybody who's interested in it, if you have an interest in history and how radio came to be and how electricity, at least the AC current, came to be, and
right,
all these kind of things, there's a great documentary on Netflix about Tesla, Nicola Tesla.